Good evening, everybody. My name is Paul Fultz, and I'm the principal here at Bowie Middle School. And my team and I would like to welcome you this evening to our parent orientation for our grade 5 parents that are moving up. Tonight we're just going to highlight a few important things that have to do with the transition from primary to middle school, some courses and some other things. And then what we'll do is we'll go live, and the entire team will be here to answer all of your questions. So together with my three assistant principals, Mr. Christinger, who I will introduce here in just one second, he's going to be the 6th grade principal next year, Miss Pena, who will be the 7th grade principal, and Mr. Watson, who will be the 8th grade principal. Our team is complete. So, sorry, my clicker's not working. You know how that goes. So middle school has a lot to offer. Unlike primary school, there's a little bit more freedom, there's a little bit more movement, there are more elective choices and groups and clubs that you can join, and we also have some more additional and different supports. So today we're going to go through some of those things a little bit in particular, but these are some of the things that are unique to middle school, and a few of the things we're going to highlight. The first is freedom and responsibility. In primary school, you have one or a few teachers. You're usually in one place most of the day, and movement is relatively restricted. In middle school, that's different. Our students move every 45 to 90 minutes. They have 8 to 10 different teachers. The building is much bigger. There are a lot more facilities to take advantage of, and so because they're in secondary, and because they're getting a little bit more mature, we give them more freedom. Of course, we have supports in place, especially for our 6th grade students, but middle school is a time where students sort of grow into themselves and gain a little bit of freedom. With that freedom, however, does come responsibility. So that means that teachers are not always, like in primary school, are not always going to be right behind them, right next to them, making sure that they get things done. Do they have it in their backpack? Is it in their now they're growing up, so we expect them to take some more responsibility for those things, not just their academics, but also their behavior, and that's their behavior with themselves and their behavior with their classmates and with our community. So obviously 6th grade is a time of transition, so we don't just we're not hands off, right? That's mostly by the time 8th grade. At that point they've really figured it out, and then we're preparing them for high school, which is a whole nother story. But with 6th grade, obviously we do have more supports. We have lots of people paying attention. We have lots of check-ins. We really keep track of them, but it's less so than in primary. Okay. One of the things that we strive for at Bowie and in middle school in general is to really encourage students to do their best in everything that they do. Not just being good artists or being good athletes or being good debaters. We also hope that and give them the tools to learn how to study and to think critically and to really look at the world with a critical eye. And that academic excellence is part of what we do every day. We expect it from our students, we expect it from ourselves. And we have a number of options that allow our students to really pursue that, including honors classes and gifted and talented classes. And of course, we'll talk about a little bit more about these two specifically in a second, but of course, there are criteria to meet, but we believe in giving all of our students a chance to really shine. So some of us really are great artists, and some of us are good debaters, and some of us are good athletes, and some of us are really good at math or spelling, and we really want to give students the opportunities to exercise those skills. This is one that as you transition from primary to middle school, as you transition from primary to secondary school, a lot of the kids that they spent a lot of their time with growing up, they're going to be with them. But there's also, because we draw from a lot of different places, there's also going to be a lot new people, a lot of new faces, and a lot of new perspectives, and that's a really engaging and enjoyable thing. We teach kids how to sort of interact, in larger groups and be successful in that way, because when you compare where they are now, where there's a class of, 25 to 35 kids, and they're together all day long, well, they'll have that, but they'll have that eight different times throughout the day. So they may interact with, as many as 150 or 200 students in their class throughout the course of a day, and we want to give them those skills. It's a really neat opportunity for them to grow, but it also can be a little bit scary. Now, I'll be honest, I'm not going to surprise you by saying that the transition from primary to middle school is scary. What I may surprise you by saying is it's less scary for your kids than it will be for you. The reason that we're doing this orientation with you folks and answering the questions that you have is because as parents, now is the time for you to sort of, give up a little bit of control and help your children, grow up and learn to do things on their own. And that can be really difficult for parents. So rest assured, we are all here to help you. I will introduce you to the team today as well as when you all arrive, and we will make sure that we have the supports in place for you and your students. This is always something parents are very interested in, and that's, hey, what are you feeding them, right? Like any other school in our district, we have the standard lunch options, and that is, that's through the USDA federal lunch program, and all of our students, thanks to the generosity of donations in our district, all of our students can have regular lunch. But in middle school, we also have, some more options, and that's really cool for kids, and sometimes a little bit scary for parents, right? I mean, we have a snack bar, and there are days when we have special foods like pizzas and burgers and things like that kids can purchase. So, it's an opportunity for them to have a little bit more of that freedom, but it's also an opportunity for you as parents to talk to them about the responsibility of being, good, not just good students, but also healthy students. And so, of course, this is something that kids really enjoy, right? Having a little bit more choice. Something else that we really enjoy, are not just our assemblies, which we try to have once a month, where we honor academic achievements and behavioral, social, and emotional achievements, but also highlight our students' activities. Pep rallies are assemblies specifically for our arts and our music and our sports. In middle school, we've got cheerleading, we've got a whole lot of different sports, and while we don't all get to see them maybe perform, we do want to highlight their achievements, their successes, and we want to give them the opportunity to perform for their classes. So, during pep rallies, we'll get everybody jazzed up for the game that's coming, but we'll also, have performances so that students can really showcase their talent. One thing that is really different between primary and middle school is the fact that your students will get to choose some of their courses. Those are called electives. And currently, we've added a few electives this year. We're hoping to add even more for next year. But currently, we've lost. Well, while we do that, I'll keep talking. Currently, we have electives available for our students that are orchestra, band, choir, art. We also have AVID in its pre-form for our 6th grade students, as well as harp, which is new this year, and robotics, which is also new this year. So we're hoping to add other electives such as theater as soon as possible, but currently we have a lot of options for your students, and naturally they are going to want to try different things, and they can certainly do that. They can do different things every year, or they can do the same thing year after year if they're really excited about it. So we're going to go ahead and keep going while it does whatever it's doing. You know how technology is, everybody. Even when you're pre-recording, sometimes it just doesn't work. One other thing that our middle school students have, and of course in primary you have PE as well. But it takes a little bit of a step up in middle school. Going back to that freedom and that responsibility, we expect our students to really have not just academically prepared selves, but artistically expressive selves as well as healthy selves. And so PE is part of that. Now, as a sixth grade student, all of our students will take PE. Fortunately, for our sixth graders, as they look to seventh grade, they will then have the opportunity to participate in UIL sports. And athletics is actually sort of a replacement for PE. So if a student actively participates in a sport like tennis or golf or basketball or football or soccer, then they don't actually have to take they don't take PE. But coming into sixth grade, UIL does not allow participation in sports for sixth grade students. So all of our students are going to be taking PE. Okay? In sixth grade, in addition to our electives, of course, we have all of our core classes. And what that means is that every day your students will be taking English, math, science, social studies, PE, which we've already mentioned, and then one of those electives, which again are art, band, choir, avid, harp, and robotics, right? I mentioned earlier, and again, I apologize, hopefully it'll come up at some point, but I mentioned earlier that we had GT and honors classes. Now, there are requirements for our students who want to participate in GT and honors classes, and those are, obviously GT is a special education special